Happy fucking Mother's Day, everybody. Welcome back to the Move Of Reactions channel. Today, to coincide with this holiday, I'm going to be doing a reaction to a classic Cinema Snob episode from the one of the first two seasons, and it's actually one of the few early episodes that I haven't gotten to, mostly due to the fact that it's one of the earliest, and those videos have become a bit hard to find, but I found it, and this is the Cinema Snob's review of the 1980 horror film Mother's Day, a movie about a bunch of crazy mama's boys raping some girls, and if I remember right, Brad commented at some point that this is a movie that he genuinely hates, and I did a trailer review of this movie over my main channel a few years ago, so it'd be interesting to revisit this material and see the classic Snob back before he went bald and he was clean shaved. So without further ado, let's watch. The classic Greatest American Hero theme. Almost feels like a lifetime ago this was the intro. What? Classic clip, and miss when Brad would play this, and used to be a time where people would associate the show with this song. Nowadays, I think most viewers on YouTube probably wouldn't get it or know what this was.
Fucking Mother's Day, everyone. Yes,
when he was sitting on the floor era.
Celebrate Joan Crawford's birthday by buying our very own mothers expensive gifts and taking them out to fancy restaurants where we wait 2 hours in line even though we already have a reservation. Yes, quite the full day and a half, but it could be worse. Could be much worse. You could be stuck watching the movie Mother's Day. Well, my mother lives 3,000 miles away, so here I am alone by myself reviewing this 1980 wannabe piece of shit redneck horror film. This movie is a motherfucker. The film was written and directed by one Charles Kaufman. No, not Charlie Kaufman, the
That'd be
writer of
weird.
Eternal Sunshine. Although I imagine that non-existent Donald Kaufman could turn in a blank script and it would be a billion times better than anything that Charles Kaufman has written here. Charles is the brother of Troma President Lloyd Kaufman, and I'm sure this is just a huge coincidence, but Troma released Mother's Day. I will say that it's not the worst movie that Troma has ever released. Ever see Girls' School Screamers? But it's way fucking up there. Seriously, I would rather watch Igor and the Lunatics with a group of NAMBLA members than watch Mother's Day again. We've seen a million
going dark here.
Like this, and I think I've reviewed more than one movie like this. But the plot concerns a redneck mother and her two nitwit sons who live out in the middle of the woods. For some reason, they kidnap passerbys and butcher the living hell out of them. The boys do it to please their mother, of course, and how very Anthony Perkins of them. I don't even know why I'm talking about this now, because other than a retarded opening sequence featuring a hippie chick and axe and acting like this.
And it's like we all had the materials provided inside us, and God handed them down to us.
Oh boy.
God is split.
We don't actually get back to the mother and the brothers till about halfway through the movie. That's pretty fucking slow for a movie where in the first scene it is so anxious to get to the violence that blood sprays before the blade even hits anybody. We've got this opening credit sequence where we overhear three girls yammering back and forth about pure bullshit. And that's nothing, because the next 40 minutes or so are just that. 3 very annoying girls yammering. It's 10 years after college graduation, and they get together for a camping trip to the woods where they reminisce about their college years. And when
I can think of better ways to reminisce.
Bullshit, I mean they yammer about bullshit. In fact, the topic of bullshit may be a step up for them.
Hey, which way do you guys want to go? Left or right? Quick, come on. Which way? We're right. We gotta be left or right. Left, right. Right. No, left, right.
We also have
The Cannonball Run is better ADR than that.
and messing up a grocery store. Plus a flashback scene where they fuck with some college stud. And all I have to say about this scene is, Tommy James, how could you? You know what? If I want to watch Sex in the City, I'll fucking watch Sex in the City. And I fucking hate Sex in the City. I do not need that show.
In real life, he's a fan.
Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Eventually, the 3 girls are stuffed in their sleeping bags and dragged back to the shack house of the mother and her yokel wonder twins, but only after they are warned by the creepy old guy in the store. You know, if all of these creepy old guys in slasher films really gave a shit about the doom that lied ahead, you'd think they'd call the cops or something. The problem with this goddamn movie is that it's way too fucking goofy to be taken seriously. There is a gang rape scene in this film where the mother makes her sons have sex with one of the girls while the other 2 girls watch from upstairs. Sure, that sounds like it could be a little disturbing, but seeing how the scene has the mother making the girl wear a Shirley Temple outfit, and it contains dialogue like this.
Please let me go.
It could work.
The movie might as well be called Forrest Gump's The Girl Next Door. In between all of these scenes of violence, there are ridiculous filler scenes that, if they are to be taken seriously, this movie needs to be stocked on the short bus. There's a fucking training montage in it that has a music riff on the Rocky theme, and the dialogue between the 2.
Well, Lloyd Kaufman worked on Rocky.
Them arguing on which is better, disco or punk.
Impressive.
Guess what? This movie both sucks and is stupid. Plus, we all know that disco is king. 2 of the girls get away alive, and we have that cliched scene where one of the villains is dressed like a fucking cop and tricks the girl. I've seen scenes like that more often than I've seen my own reflection in a mirror. After that, the movie goes into I Spit on Your Grave territory and becomes a revenge film where the girls pick off the Petticoat Manson junction one by one. Yes, there is crotch violence to be seen.
Well, a good axe to the rapist dick moment. Although I think RoboCop topped it with the gunshot.
Anyway, once the other brother gets Drano poured down his fucking throat and a TV
Sweet.
over his head, I kept expecting an anvil bearing the Acme logo to be dropped on someone's foot. But all of that shit just makes the final death scene seem really fucking lacking. After you have penis picking and TV smashing, suffocation to the face with a plastic boob, lame. There's also this
That's a new one.
bizarre sub-story where the mother keeps her boys in fear by telling them that her monstrous sister named Queenie roams the woods and is out to kill her. And all I have to say about that is that if you have a plot with someone or something named Queenie, you're a fucking idiot. In a subgenre that includes movies like Unhinged and Lake Dead, this movie probably isn't the worst, but that's kind of like debating drowning versus burning. Either way, it's gonna hurt.
Doris, you have made your mother very proud.
Well, as he mentioned earlier, that definitely looks pretty retarded. And seems like Troma, like this is before they put out the Toxic Avenger, so looks like they hadn't yet figured out quite the balance of horror and comedy yet. And I know a very interesting fact about Mother's Day, the movie. The co-writer next to Charles Kaufman was Warren Leight, who TV fans might know as the, for many years, he's not anymore, but for many years he was the main showrunner of Law & Order Special Victims Unit. So yeah, he went from a very exploitive, sleazy rape revenge movie to a very exploitive, sleazy rape police procedural.
Oh, rim shot!
This was fun. It's always cool to go back to the early years of the Cinema Snob, and it's fun to see the era where Brad was, sitting on his floor, because as he mentioned at one point, he was in the middle of moving, but he had to come back for a little bit, so he just had to just sit on the fucking floor and chat as much as he could. And I see what he says about how the tone doesn't seem to work per se. Some of the dialogue is, pretty fucking dumb, but I don't know, maybe if I watched it in its entirety, I might be able to get into it. The three women talking about random bullshit, that does seem a bit annoying, but it's funny to hear him say, I hate Sex in the City, because as he showed on more than one occasion, Brad's actually a reasonable fan with a lot of knowledge on the history of that show, so I don't know, maybe he was just being in character here. But anyway, this is my Mother's Day tie-in reaction, and hopefully you and your mom have a nice day together, and I will see you again very soon.